I'll just take it from Togoland and the United Kingdom Trusteeship. Text of Trusteeship Agreement as approved by the blah blah blah. I'll not bring all. Let's end there. The preference. So we jump over it. We go to page. We start from page 1. Togoland and the United Kingdom Trusteeship. These are tiny write-up, but we will try to, strain our eyes in order to read it somehow. Whereas the territory known as Togoland under British mandate and hereafter referred to as the territory has been administered in accordance with Article 22 of the Covenant of the League of Nations under mandate conferred on His Britannic Majesty. And whereas Article 75 of the United Nations Charter, signed at the San Francisco on 26 June 1945, provides for the establishment of an international trusteeship system for the administration and supervision of such territories as may be placed thereafter by subsequent individual agreements. And whereas under Article 77 of the said charter, the international trusteeship system may be applied to territories now held under mandate. And you see, so it means that this article was not written for only the West Togoland. When you are, according to Article 77, when you are territory, it's supposed to be applied to you. Whereas His Majesty has indicated his desire to place the territory under the said international trusteeship agreement. And whereas in accordance with Article 75 and 77 of the said charter, the placing of a territory under the international trusteeship system is to be effected by means of a trusteeship agreement. You see, so the trusteeship agreement consistently agreed upon our independence, what the British should do for us to nurture us up to the state of the independence. They didn't do that. About 10 years down the line, they have automatically, orally, for just a mere discussion, a table discussion, then they put us into what? And law goes by force, which is unacceptable before the law. It was forcefully, and it never should it be a case. And it will never be a case before us. Now, therefore, the General Assembly of the United Nations hereby resolves to approve the following terms of trusteeship for the territory. So this is what the General Assembly of the United Nations approved for us. They approved this for us, and then Britain must be held responsible for the trouble that we are going through in this country called Ghana. We are in our land. We have never migrated to Ghana. We have our land as a territory.
Yes.
We have our people responsible for the management of the land before the birth of Ghana, and even before the birth of Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Where Gold Coast was being traded with. We were traded with by the British people. We were in a territory. We were ourselves before all this period. So there's no way they can add a territory to a colony and ask the colony to rule such territory. Never should it be done, and we will not accept it.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. So let's go to Article 1. The territory to which this agreement applies comprises that part of Togoland lying to the west of the boundary defined by the Franco-British Declaration of 10th July 1919. This boundary, the 1919 boundary, is there from Kaswa and this thing, Central Region boundary. The Central Region and then the Greater Accra boundary. That is the 1919 boundary they are talking about. But later on, after the British took over and did all such things that they did to us, they redraw the boundary to 1922. The 1922 boundary was what we have repeated in 2021 recently. As definition and modified by the Protocol of 21st October 1929, executed by the commissioners appointed in the execution of Article 2(1) of the said declaration. Now, Article 2. His Majesty is hereby designated as an administrative authority for the territory, the responsibility for the administrations of which will be undertaken by His Majesty's government in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. 3. The administrative authority undertake to administer the territory in such a manner as to achieve the basic objectives of the international trusteeship system laid down in Article 76 of the United Nations Charter. The administrative authority further undertakes to collaborate with the General Assembly of the United Nations and the Trusteeship Council in the discharge of all their functions as defined in Article 87 of the United Nations Charter, and to facilitate any periodic visits to the territory which they may deem fit. At times to be agreed upon with the administrative authority. The administrative authority shall be responsible for the peace, order, good government and defense of the territory, and B, for ensuring that it shall play its part in the maintenance of international peace and security. Article 5. For the above mentioned purposes and for all purposes of this agreement, as may be necessary, the administrative authority, okay, I continue. A, shall have full powers of legislation, that's parliamentary procedures, administration, ministerial procedures, and jurisdiction in the territory, that's judiciary work, and shall administer it in accordance with his own laws as an integral part of his territory, with such notification as may be required by local conditions and subject to the provisions of the United Nations Charter and of this agreement. B, shall be entitled to constitute the territory into a customs, fiscal, or administrative union, or under federation with adjacent territory under his sovereignty or control, and to establish common services between such territories and the territories where with measures are not inconsistent with the basic objectives of the international justice system and with the terms of this agreement. Yes, this side has passed, the time has passed. There's not going to be union or federation anymore. there's no, for the past years, the oral discussion, the oral decision taken on this has not been materialized. So we are calling for the world authorities to come with us, or to quickly respond to this statement. The federation is cancelled. We are no more interested in federation or union, because the relationship with us now is like cat and dog type of relationship. So there's no way we will accept that anymore. That's not what we are looking for, actually. C. I shall be entitled to establish naval, military, and air bases, to erect fortifications, to station and employ his own forces in the territory, and to take all such other measures as are in his opinion necessary for the defense of the territory, and for ensuring that it plays its part in the maintenance of international peace and security. To this end, the military authority may make use of volunteer forces, facilitate and assist assistance from the territory in carrying out the obligations towards the Security Council undertaken in this regard by the administrative authority, as well as for local defense and the maintenance of law and order within the territory. 6. The administrative authority shall provoke. You see, are we facing the work of diminishing returns? Maybe diminishing returns have to set what to set in, but we'll try to manage it. The administrative authority shall promote the development of the political institutions suited to the territory. To this end, the administrative authority shall ensure to the inhabitants of the territory a progressively increasing share in the administrative and other services of the territory. Shall develop the participation of the inhabitants of the territory in advisory and legislative bodies and in the government of the territory, both central and local, as may be appropriate to the particular circumstances of the territory and its peoples, and shall take all other appropriate measures with a view to the political advancement of the inhabitants of the territory, in accordance with Article 76b of the United Nations Charter. In considering the measures to be taken under this article, the administrative authority shall, in the interest of the inhabitants, have special regard to the provisions of Article 5 and of this agreement. You know, the agreement, the treaty agreement, told the Britain everything that they should do to give us independence. By so doing, it means that the British also have to, employ the citizens, or with the citizens, to take part in the administrations. You understand? So that was what would make them to be able to give us the independence. So after taking that part in the administration and they work together with them, what happens is that as time goes on, they leave the administration for us, and then we continue the administration ourselves. That's the independence. But they fail to do that. That's the weak aspect of the Britain. Britain claimed that they have written authoritative letter to the United Nations General Assembly. But that authoritative letter seems to be what? Nothing. It seems to be nothing. They don't give any meaningful result to the people of Western Togoland, or to those of us whom United Nations entrusted into their hands. Article 7, the administrative authority undertakes to apply in the territory the provisions of any international conventions and recommendations already existing or hereafter drawn up by the United Nations or by the specialist agencies referred to in Article 57 of the Charter, which may be appropriate to the particular circumstances of the territory and which would conduce to the advancement of the basic objectives of the international trusteeship system. Now we go to 8. Go to 8. And in framing laws relating to the holding or transfer of land and natural resources, the administrative authority shall take into consideration native laws and customs, and shall respect the right and safeguard the interest, both present and future, of the native population. No native land or resources or natural resources may be transferred except between natives, save with the previous consent of the competent public authority. No real right over native land or natural resources in favor of non-natives may be created except with the said consent. Yes, this is the article that binds Ghana. Really? Gold Coast. This article actually binds Ghana or Gold Coast not to be able to tap anything from our land. But what are we seeing today? They are doing it. Britain look on aloof, as if he did not do anything concerning that. Meanwhile, he is also getting a share. Britain gets shares out of Ghana's action by stealing from our land. Britain also gets shares. I don't responsible for the management of our gold system.
That's right.
You understand? That is why, and that's the reason why they are not supporting our independence till now. Even though they were forced to sign our document in 2021, they were the last country that signed our document in 2021, 27th November 2021. They signed our document in that particular date. But they are not doing what? The right thing to us. I continue. Subject to the previous of Article, subject to the provisions of Article 10 of this agreement, the administrative authority shall take all necessary steps to ensure equal treatment in social, economic, industrial, and commercial matters for all members of the United Nations and their nationals, and to this end. I will not read out this one. This Article 9, we have seen some lapses in it. It has actually given opportunity to, even other people from let's say their own people, to take over businesses and other things from our land, as they are going to Gold Coast right now. That is what this article is talking about. But I think I will jump over it. That's not what we need. We need total independence. They shouldn't keep deceiving us. We need our exploiting us all the time. Number 10. Measures taken to give effect to Article. Article 10. We are off. We don't read Article 10 also. Because Article 10 also supported Article 9. Okay? So we take it off. This is the document T/1301. Now we go to Article 11. If Britain wants to get something from us, then it should give us independence.
Yes.
If they give us independence, we sit with them and decide on what we also need, and they also need from us.
That's all.
You understand?
Yes.
We sit on table and discuss business.
Yes.
They cannot hide behind Ghana and be tapping us all the time.
No.
So we escape such article. Now we are struggling ourselves to liberate ourselves from our enemies.
Yes.
If they are willing to be part of our business and others, then they have to, shake hands with us so that we move together. Article 11. Nothing in this agreement shall entitle any member of the United Nations to claim for itself or for its nationals, companies, or associations the benefit of Article 9. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Now, even Article 11, the United Nations has cancelled their what? Their kululus, their petitions and all that from the land. But we refuse to read Article 9 and 10. Even though Article 11 object or raise objection to any unusual thing or businesses and any other thing that we do on the land that will not benefit the land. Article 11 has cancelled it, but we have ignored it. I continue with 11. Of this agreement, in any reason, so with any respect in which it does not give to the inhabitants, companies, association of the territory, equality of treatment with the nationals, companies, and associations of the state which it treats most favorable. Do you understand here? Let me go over Article 11 again. Article 11 says, nothing in this agreement shall entitle any member of the United Nations to claim for itself or for its national companies or associations the benefit of Article 9 of this agreement in any respect in which it does not give to the inhabitants, companies, and national and associations of the territory equality of treatment with the national companies and associations with the state which it treats most favorable. I go to 12. The administrative authority shall, as may be appropriate to the citizens. I think we will have to end here. We have about 3 pages, 2 pages left. So should we end or we continue? Let me end it at the 12. The 12 says the administrative authority shall, as may be appropriate to the circumstances of the territory, continue and extend a general system of elementary education designed to abolish illiteracy and to facilitate the vocational and cultural advancement of the population, child and adult, and shall similarly provide such facilities as may prove desirable and practicable in the interest of the inhabitant for qualified students to receive secondary and higher education, including professional treatment. 13. The administrative authority shall ensure in the territory complete freedom of conscience and so far as is consistent with the requirements of public order and morality, freedom of religious teachings, and the free exercise of all forms of worship, subject to the provisions of Article 8 of this agreement and the local law. maintenance missionaries who are nationals of members of the United Nations shall be free to enter the territory and to travel and reside therein, to acquire and propose property, possess property, to erect religious buildings, and to open schools and hospitals in the territory. The provisions of this article shall not, however, affect the right and duty of the administrative authority to exercise such control as he may consider necessary for the maintenance of peace, order, and good government, and for the educational advancement of the inhabitants of the territory, and to take all measures required for such control. Now, 14. Subject only to the requirement of the public order, the administrative authorities shall guarantee to the inhabitants of the territory freedom of speech, of the press, of assembly, and of petition. You see, we don't have freedom of the press. We don't have freedom in our land. Because anytime we meet to do anything, they can tell either they trace us with police soldiers and all the arrest and bully us. You see? And they did that until they closed tongue radio. The closed tongue radio up to now, the past government, NPP government closed the tongue radio. The NDC government also frowned on it. They couldn't do anything about it till now. So, where are we? The administrative authority may arrange for the cooperation of the territory in any regional advisory commission, regional technical organizations, or other volunteer associations of the states, any specialist international bodies, public or private, or other forms of international activity not inconsistent with the United Nations Charter. The administrative authority shall make to the General Assembly of the United Nations an annual report on the basis of a questionnaire drawn up by the Trusteeship Council in accordance with Article 88 of the United Nations Charter. Such reports shall include information concerning the measures taken to give effect to suggestions and recommendations of the General Assembly and the Trusteeship Council. The administrative authority shall designate an accredited representative to be present at the sessions of the Trusteeship Council, at which the report of the administrative authority with regard to the territory are considered. Nothing in this agreement shall affect the right of the administrative authority to propose at any future date the amendment of this agreement for the purpose of designating the whole or part of the territory as a strategic area, or for any other purpose not inconsistent with the basic objectives of the international trusteeship system. Yes, this article actually stands against Ghana and British Queen for allocating part of our land to themselves, and they named them as Voter Triangle. Voter Triangle. This is where the issue of Voter Triangle is, revoked. So this part has given us the authority to cancel and to remove anything that belongs to Britain and Ghana from part of our land, ranging from Aflawu, Denu, Soakopa, to town areas, Juapo and Co, to Peki. They have no any legal right to usurp anything from that land. It does not belong to them. So everybody, and politicians especially, John Dramani Mahama and Co, they should take their mind and their eyes off our land, as they know that those areas, especially we have some vital mineral resources over there and they are looking up to it. We are telling them from today that they should take off their mind.
Yes.
The terms of this agreement shall not be altered. Nobody can alter it or amended except as provided in Article 79 and Article 83 or 85, as the case may be of the United Nations Charter. Nobody can alter anything in this agreement.
Yes. At all.
The last one. If any dispute whatever should arise between the administrative authority and another member of the United Nations relating to the interpretations or applications of the previous of these provisions of this agreement, such dispute, if it cannot be settled by negotiation or other means, shall be submitted to the International Court of Justice provided for in Chapter X 1V of the United Nations Charter. Thank you.